Alrighty. So my message today is Courage versus Strength is the title. And this title might sound like a boxing match. And perhaps that is what you think of when you think about these words. But today we are going to dissect these concepts, which hopefully will bring forth a few aha moments for you and maybe in your lives. And the goal is for us to come to this place of knowing that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Let us affirm our statements of truth together first, please. I am a child of God. I am deserving of good in my life. I am accepting my good now. Thank you. All right, in Philippians 4:13 it is written, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And how can we, as human beings on this earthly plane, do all things? Does it require courage and or strength? And how do we work spirituality into the equation? Let's look up a few synonyms. Yeah. You know, I said this the other day too. Synonyms for courage. Did you just do something to my mic? Because it sounds like it's got the echo thing going again, and I don't like that. It's like I'm talking to myself. Courage is bravery, guts, nerve, valor, daring, audacity. And when I think about these words, I automatically think of the military, don't you? Yes. And I also think about law enforcement. Because to me, these words pretty much sum up what they do and how they go out. And you know, the thing about it is that they're out there to protect us. They protect our cities, they protect our states, they protect our country. And I totally support them because I feel like that's not a job I want to do. And I'm glad that there are people that want to do that. And even when the media focuses on a few horrific mistakes that a few of them have made, there are hundreds of thousands who espouse to the principles and the laws that they swore to uphold, and that's what we need to focus on, isn't it? Yes. And how many times do you hear about that in the media? That's why I love this picture right there of the policeman holding these kids and helping these kids and giving that kid a kiss. Because there's more of those kind of guys out there than there are the ones that are doing the things that we don't approve of. But I think another example of courage is someone with an apparent disability who goes forth to do things beyond the norm. You know, I know my sister Patty, who had Down syndrome, did so much more, accomplished so much more, and did so much more than what the doctors had told my parents when she was born. You know, they said to stick her in a home because she'll never be able to do anything. And my parents didn't do that, of course, and Patty was quite adjusted and loved people, and it was a beautiful experience to be her sister. I think another example is that new TV commercial with the Toyota Camry. I don't know if you've seen it, but I actually caught the girl's name at the bottom of the commercial, and her name was Amy Purdy. And she gets out of bed and you see her feet, and they're prosthetics on her feet. And then you see her get in the car and drive away, but she gets out of her car and she starts jogging on these hills, it looks like in California. And I think to myself, what courage. But that doesn't even stop there. In the commercial, she dances and she does other things. And I think, my gosh, to think that she doesn't have any feet and she's out there doing all these things. And not only is she doing that, she's being filmed doing that. And I think that has to be tremendous courage. I think the medical teams and our hospital staff and our doctors who must determine what is happening in people's body without having all the facts of spirit, mind, and body are very courageous in making those diagnoses. Because we don't always tell them what's truly going on with us. We might go to the doctor and say, oh, I think I have a head cold or I might have the flu. But who knows really, in this bigger scheme of things, what is playing into that. So they are courageous to try to make a diagnosis on that plane. But it's obvious that we see courageous people and courageous things all around us. But let's look at the synonyms for strength. Strength is power, force, might, potency, muscle, vigor. And so I think automatically about those Iron Man guys or whatever they're called, superhero strong guys, that harness on those harnesses and strap up to those semis and pull them with brute strength. That's what I think of when I read those words. But when I really think of the word strength, I think about the power of strength from the 12 powers. And that's a little 12 powers from the kids version, but it had better clarity, so I used it. But the 12 powers are tools that we all possess and that we can use in our everyday life. And I think that if we can activate these powers, we open up this portal for us to express from that Christ within. And strength is one of those powers. And Fillmore defines strength for us in the revealing word as this, which really, you know God's in the midst of the whole thing when you have just listened to Warren's meditation, and he didn't really know what I was talking about today, but the very first thing on this definition is strength, the energy of God. And his meditation was about that, wasn't it? So that's another example of that oneness that we share and those ideas going through all of us at the same time. But I love that. Strength, the energy of God. Freedom from weakness, stability of character, power to withstand temptation, capacity to accomplish. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. And all strength originates in spirit. The thought and the word spirituality expressed being the manifestation. Now, wowza, this is a fully packed definition, isn't it? And the words can give us that power to move forth what is ours to do. But that idea of strength being that energy of God to me is right there, just an opening for me and one of those ahas for me. Because you forget, you think that, oh, I don't have the strength to get out of bed. I don't have the strength to go out there and mow the yard. I don't have strength to do the laundry today. We tell ourselves this, don't we? And if we just changed our thinking to think that that strength is the energy of God, then we know that God is always here with us. We can't use that anymore for an excuse, can we? Which might kind of mess you up a little bit, but it can also empower you depending on how you look at it. And depending on whether you want it to soak into your mind and your body and your spirituality, or whether you're going to just let it go shooting all the way through. But when we develop the power of strength, we can look at these benefits that it provides. And if any time that we fall short in any of these areas, all we have to do is turn within to that Christ and do a little meditation with ourselves and affirm strength. If we need freedom from anything, affirm strength. To claim stability in your life or to claim the stability of who you are, affirm strength. To stand strong and have the power to be able to understand anything that you label as a temptation, affirm strength. And if you need the capacity to accomplish anything, before you begin, affirm strength. Every aspect of strength carries with it the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And we just have to tap into that. And when we activate that power of strength, we can be what we are meant to be on this plane. Don't you believe that? And strength expressing through us when we claim it in our lives from the power source of divine mind allows us to move through our life with more confidence, but more importantly, with ease and grace. Because we're no longer giving ourselves those excuses. We're no longer allowing ourselves to go to that place where we don't think we have the strength and where we want to give up. Anybody ever been in that place? Yeah, where you didn't even want to get out of bed. You just said, hey, forget it. Yeah. But it makes it easier for us to manifest anything in your life. And who really cares what you manifest in your life? Why not right here, right now, say to yourself, I'm going to bump it up a notch. And I'm going to start demonstrating in my life what it is I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it is through the power of strength. Is anybody with me on this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And from the Bible it says, from Isaiah 40:31, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And I think about this quote, it's just so powerful too. But all of you that have been taking classes, whether it be Metaphysical Bible or the Creative Process with Warren and I in these last 5 weeks, what is another name for Lord?
I am.
I am. Who said that? Very good, Maria. And what's another name for the I am?
Christ.
You're not supposed to say up there, mister. The Christ, that's right. So if we change this quote to say this, but those who have faith in the Christ within will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isn't that powerful? And all we have to do is have faith in that Christ within us. That energy of God that is moving in and through us. And we can soar like eagles. Who wants to soar like eagles? I do. And watch out though. Just watch out with that though, because when we feel this power, sometimes we start, getting our ego in the way, don't we? We start thinking it's all about us. We're the ones that are bringing all this around. We are so powerful that we can do anything and manifest anything. But that's not what that's about. That power, it doesn't allow you to really get those ahas when you go to that place. When you allow your ego to overrun that spiritual growth that you're making, it switches everything. You're no longer in that place of honoring that Christ within you. And that's where we want to grow from. We want to come from that Christ within. So all we have to do if we go there is just recenter. You know, and when we look around at the world, we see this ego gone awry, don't we? We see it in other countries. We see it in our own country. We see it in our own states and in our own government. And it kind of goes back to just some of the pictures I've even put up there that might have kind of made you go, why does she think that's courage, or strength or whatever? But the thing about it is, if we don't allow, if we align with the Christ and don't allow the ego to go awry, we're not going to end up in those situations anymore. Everybody's going to look at it totally different. From governments to the people fighting to everything. And we know this. And all we have to do for ourselves is turn within to that Christ within and recenter. Fillmore suggests the highest development of spiritual discernment sees the I am possessed of nothing as its own, but the user of all things that God has. Now that's powerful, because we own nothing. We are just the user of all there is. Do you know what that's going to do if you can really soak that in? It's going to change your prosperity consciousness. Because if we believe that this truth, then we know that God is unlimited, the unlimited source of all abundance. And it's all out there for us. And no longer are we trying to collect it all for ourselves. In fact, what will happen is we will no longer be worried about what we can manifest, that perfect thing that we're trying to manifest. No, we will know that it's all coming to us through the grace of God, through us just being centered on that Christ, through us being in that right place at the right time, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually, the whole package aligned. And that's what I'm talking about, opening up that portal. It really won't matter what you manifest. It'll be what you're demonstrating in your life, which is a whole lot more important. Because if we're demonstrating from that Christ presence, everybody will want to be around you. Everybody will want to have some of that energy and feel it and know it. And you know what changes the most, though? Is what you think about it. No longer will you think I have to keep all this stuff over here, whether it's clothing or your little treasures or your artifacts or your whatever it is, your art, whatever it is that you have that you think you have to hold on to. And the other thing that you will no longer hold on to is every thought or every word or every idea that you have that you think is going to be something just for you. Because like I just even said, Warren demonstrated the oneness of God with his meditation being so on point with this message today. But what we will be is expressing and demonstrating from that Christ within, and we'll know that even though we might say something that could help somebody else with an idea, or somebody else express something, or somebody else demonstrate for themselves, it's not taking anything away from us. It's not taking a thing away from us, because we do not possess nothing. What it is it's opening up that channel to allow that energy of God to move in through all of us. And when we do that, guess who's going to be blessed? We are. We are going to be blessed. And we will be blessed far more than anything that you can buy, any idea that you get, any piece of clothing, any money that you even have in your pocket or your purse right now. You will be. Because we know that once we open up, what happens is we get into that act of giving. And when we give, we're opening up the portal even more, aren't we? We're expanding that awareness of the Christ presence within ourselves. And guess what's going to happen? More ideas are going to come, more things are going to come, and even more money will come. It will. All we have to do is realize that we own nothing. And that it's all there for us to use. It's a huge switch. And if we take that in and live by that, then we can move to this. Man is given dominion over all things, but possession is not conveyed. Dominion means the kind of like the power over. Thus, you do not possess even your body. It belongs to God. If it is sick or discordant in any way, the condition must be in your idea of the body and not in the real body itself. All of God's creations are perfect. Your body, as it appears to God, must also be perfect. And if you will stand aside and let God's Spirit shine through it, you will see that it's perfect in every part. But can we affirm that I am perfect? Let's say that together. I am perfect.
I am perfect.
Again.
I am perfect.
And you know what? Sometimes when I say that for myself, it almost makes me cry. It makes me cry because I don't know if I totally believe it down deep in my soul sometimes. You know? We're on this human plane. And there are times that we look in the mirror and we say, holy crap, you know, what happened? You know, I used to be perfect when I was 20-something, you know, or when I was at size 7, you know, or whatever. But we do that to ourselves, don't we? Or we see a few lines or wrinkles or, you know, gray hairs, and we go into panic mode, you know. Oh my God, I've got to find the best cream in the world and give me some hair color quick. But the thing about it is that we're not looking in the mirror saying, I'm perfect. And if we switch that, it can be powerful. And I know I struggle with it, but this is one of the things that we have to work on. And guess what can help us work on that? Is the power of strength. I mean, it's kind of like Diane saying that she's turning 70. Give me a freaking break. I'm sorry. She doesn't look 70. And if you saw her in yoga class, you would know that she doesn't look 70. I mean, the girl can wind up in a pretzel. You know, so, I mean, it's like...
She's shaking it.
Well, Nancy, you're pretty flexible, too. So let me say, hey, I've seen you in yoga class, too. But all we have to do is affirm strength first, don't we? We have to affirm strength and say, when I look in the mirror, say, hey, pretty hot stuff there. You know, just change your thinking. And you know what it does? It changes the perception, because that's what it's all about. It's our own perception of what we are seeing through our own little bitty eyes that you know, doesn't agree with these truths, that distorts the truth that we are perfect. So if we can change our perception and affirm strength first, it will change everything. You know, I started thinking about how we could even look at something in nature to symbolize how we can change how we look at strength and how we look at ourselves being perfect. And so I came up with this example. Well, actually, God's ideas came through me, and I came up with this idea. And you're probably going to think it's silly, and some of you, if you have a phobia, I'm sorry. but I came up with the idea of spiders. Yes, you heard me correctly. Spiders and their webs. Those webs are so strong, aren't they?
Yes, ma'am.
Haven't you ever gotten one on you and then you like can't get it off? And it's not just the stickiness, you know. It is, because like at each one of those little, you know, meeting junctions. Yeah, junctions. That's a good word. Thank you. Who said that? But that's where the stickiness is. But the web itself is so super strong that you can't get it off of you. And actually, there's a biologist, her name's Cheryl Hayashi, and she's doing tremendous research looking at spider webs and the strength of them. And she said that webs are made of a mix of proteins, and which makes them stronger than steel and lighter than air. That's why they just, you know, we used to have one in Kansas City that came off of our gutter, went over to a tree, and cleared down to the ground. Every spring, that spider made that huge web. But it was beautiful when the sun just hit it. You just don't want to walk through it. Forget it's there. Because you never get it off. Anyway, but the amazing thing is that the use that the spiders use for those webs too. Because spiders use them to make their homes and trap their food, to travel, to court each other, and to protect their eggs. And the cool part about that is, isn't that kind of like what we do too with our own strength? You know, we build our homes, we trap our food, we travel, we court each other with strength. It takes strength to go up to somebody and ask them out, you know, or tell them you love them. And we protect our eggs or our children. We use the same strength as a spider does. And the spider naturally creates all this with what is theirs to do, through that total idea of strength. And that's what we have to be aware of, is how much we really use strength in our lives already to be able to activate that power of strength. You know, and so can we say the same thing about our lives? Are we naturally doing what is ours to do through the power of strength? Are we? Yes, no, maybe not. Maybe in between. Yeah, so it's something to work on. And not only did that biologist look at the strength and the qualities of the silk that comes off of a spider, but she is also looking at new ways to use them, such as fishing lines, for those of you that are fishermen, sutures, isn't that exciting, and armor cloth. Now just think how light that would be if it's lighter than air to use the spider webs for that. But the thing about it is, it's the same thing with us. We can always look at new ideas of ways to use our strength. We can find ways where we're not using our strength and activate that power of strength and use it. So I ask you, can you affirm strength for yourself?
Yes.
Okay. And if you can convince yourself that you are a child of God, your next step is to declare it in a word and to carry it out in the acts of your daily life. So if you're saying that you can claim strength for yourself, then let's see you carry it out in your daily lives. And after declaring this, if you fall short in demonstrating yourself to be a child of God, you are to find out why. Ask and it shall be given to you. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. And you know, the thing about it is, we affirm that we affirm our strength by claiming that we are a child of God, don't we? And if something is blocking the flow of our natural existence on this earth, all we have to do is deny the power that we're given to it. So when I look in the mirror and I say, oh girl, what happened? All I need to do is say, sorry, I'm denying that power that I'm giving to that negative thought. All I have to do is say, I am not going to say that anymore. I'm denying that power and I'm going to affirm strength. And from that point, it changes everything. And you know, this place right here, this place that we call the Unity Church and Spiritual Center, is a spiritual birthing center for all of our powers to be activated. I love that. Do you? And when we have the courage to use our strength to build this family, this community, and this church, we're going to see some amazing things. And so I'm asking you, do you have the courage to use your strength to build this family, this community, this church? Yes? Maybe? I hope you're saying yes. Because then at that point I invite you to look at how strength works in your life to support this ministry and all that we all do, and to discover how you can support this collective future that we're building, this collective future on the new campus, this collective future right here, so that together we may give to others the spiritual insight and that we can soar like eagles together. Wouldn't that be great? And Fillmore reminds us that all of that is possible with this quote. Here comes the mission of the Holy Spirit. When you ask in the silence of spirit to be shown why you do not manifest the powers that Jesus of Nazareth manifested, the Holy Spirit will in some way reveal to you the lack. How that revealment will come about, no one can tell you. The lack will show up when you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. But how that's revealed to you is for you to know. And it'll show up when you begin to change your thinking. When you can go to prayer and meditation and ask for the guidance. When you can affirm strength. All of that will show up. And if you have anything standing in the way, once you deny that power, guess what? That you open up that portal a little bit more and strength is going to come rushing through full force. And who doesn't want that super strength every day? As that first picture I showed you with the big S for Superman, think of the big S for Superman as yours big S for strength that will come rushing through to help you have the courage to do what is yours to do. And all we have to do is remember that God is our refuge and our strength and ever-present help in trouble. And be still and know that I am God. Thank you for being here today.